Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Best of the Month with me, also Luke from Kaleidoscape, and we are also joined by Kellen from Dream Media. What's up, fellas?
Kind sir, wonderful to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too again here, and thank you to all you guys who have been waiting in the chat. What's up, Mark Reed? Welcome back again this week. So let's get. So what we've been doing here the past couple months, well, the past month, is we've been doing the 4K movie monthly roundup. So the stuff that I have reviewed for the past month, we're gonna discuss that for like their top picks for the previous month, which is gonna be June. And then, obviously Luke watches way more movies than I do, but he's going to interject some of his knowledge of good movies for the past month. And also Kellen, if Kellen has seen anything, we'll just talk about that. But before we get into it, let's talk about some movie news or physical media news. Let me go ahead and share this screen today, you guys. So, this is relevant to what we're talking about today. This is news from Redbox. So, Redbox has been, they are filing bankruptcy because they are nearly $1 billion in debt. So, it says the filings show that the company has took on about $325 million in debt following its purchase of Redbox in 2022 from private equity giant Apollo Global Management. The plan was to make it into an entertainment conglomerate combining DVD rental business with its free streaming services like Crackle, the entertainment platform that was once owned by Sony, which you could also watch comedians in cars getting coffee starring Jerry Seinfeld. That's how I knew about Crackle. But those plans didn't plan out. It was hindered by Hollywood strikes, limited production of fresh content, and the decline of people renting physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, which also forced Netflix to quit that part of the business last year. And also, the day before that was announced, this also happened with Sony. Sony is going to cut 250 jobs from their recordable media business, KeyHub. So out of 670 employees, cutting 250 jobs from that, which is going to be like 40% of their workforce. They're planning to cut jobs amid a decline in demand for traditional storage formats such as Blu-ray discs, with streaming services now being the norm. Which, listen, I don't want to say that physical media will totally disappear. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I think there's always going to be some form of physical media to house our movies on, for sure, but it's no surprise that streaming has definitely taken over the physical media business on how most people get their content. And Luke, I think you're frozen. Still frozen.
Hmm. I don't know. My camera's decided that it doesn't want to be happy with me today. It just blanked out on me for some reason there. Sorry about that.
But Kellen, how do you feel about this decline in people getting physical media, Blu-ray discs, going over to streaming? And your mic is dead too.
You muted there, buddy?
I am on mute. Sorry, guys. I was
Okay.
coughing my head off earlier. Yeah, I mean, just being in a kind of a rural area, that was one of the main things that I could consume media, especially movies, was purchasing, from my local store. So kind of hate to see it go in a way, but I know that there's always going to be, I'd say, the crowd that's seeking this type of medium. Having the physical tangible disc, physically owning that property or movie, whatever. Um, but yeah, it's come to light with some of these companies not manufacturing the discs anymore, that sort of thing. So there's I guess greater room for expansion on different platforms as well. I mean, Kaleidoscape is a solid option. partnering with them for these live streams and things. I know that's kind of why you brought it up,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's a great alternative, and I think that as physical media becomes harder to get, I don't think
Yeah.
it'll completely die off like you said, but at least we have some solid options.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sucks that not that I ever used Redbox, but like we saw how Netflix got out of the business and they just went straight on streaming. They stopped their rental business, their mail order business, and it looks like Redbox is going to be going that same way as well, with physical media just really taking over. I mean, sorry, with streaming really taking over. And the quality has definitely gotten better on streaming for sure. Not quite the same as physical media or the Kaleidoscape, but I mean, it's good to know that there are alternatives such as the Kaleidoscape as physical media becomes more of a niche product. I mean, Kaleidoscape is kind of a niche product as well, but we've got two niche products: physical media and Kaleidoscape. And then as it becomes harder to get physical media, like you like collectors box sets and stuff like that, which may be in like limited production runs, etc. Yeah, you don't get the cool cover art or maybe the cool steelbook or something like that. But options like the Kaleidoscape would be a viable option for hardcore movie fans out there. You can get it like at the click of a button on your app or in the app store on screen. You can download these things depending on what device you're using it on. Within an hour or like 5 minutes, it's done. It's downloaded on your machine. So I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of sad that we're seeing this slow decline of physical media. But
It's
It,
also
there's
helped the digital release time frame too. I mean, I think they
yeah,
just released Quiet Place Day One is going to be releasing later this month, July 30th or something like that. Is maybe some news that may not be true or false, verified yet, but that's kind of what I saw. So I mean, that movie just came out this past Friday, so that's pretty
yeah,
cool
this
to
past
see.
weekend.
yeah, those
Yeah, for
turn
sure.
windows are getting a lot closer. You have to think that that's part of the process, is they know they can get digital assets out in front into consumers' hands more quickly
Yep.
than this can happen. I mean, this is it's for me it's still disheartening news, even though I've been at this company for 20 years. So I was at Kaleidoscape, and we were a server company that was making a solution for people that had hard media collections. Right, that's what it was.
Yeah,
It was a place to put all of your DVDs when I first came on board, and it was a wonderful solution as it existed there. And one of the reasons we transferred our business model is because we saw the writing was on the wall, that this
yeah,
is the kind of eventuality that was going to start to come in, and the specialty market will still exist. Criterion still is going to do a great job of kind of producing these high quality things. Shout and Kino and Arrow and a handful of other folks are for powerful niche audiences with strong fan bases. They're
yep,
still making those things, and they of course are, to my eternal consternation, getting rights to get these great pieces of physical media out there that they don't necessarily have the same resolution that comes back to digital. And now it's just a waiting game, I think, for some of those rights to turn and lapse, and for us to be able to get some access to some of those guys as they come out here. But never happy to hear about folks losing their jobs. That's always a down piece, but it is good to pay attention to the big bellwethers when we see how the market's continuing to evolve.
yeah, for sure. And, I also don't like the fact that I mean, it's cool that we can get these movies like 30 days later, or in the case of like The Fall Guy, 2 weeks later, because these are good movies. They really deserve to be in the cinemas to make money. Because without cinemas, we're gonna get like subpar home movies eventually in the future if people just stop supporting cinemas. Because these actors and directors, they don't want to make movies for streaming. They want people to go to big cinemas to see them. And then if there is no support for the theatrical cinematic experience, we're going to get really dumbed down experience and, just like Netflix level quality direct to streaming movies. And, it's cool that, yeah, we get to see movies in less than like 30 days or 45 days. But at the same time, it's like you guys really should support your local cinemas so we get these quality products when they come out in physical media and also on the Kaleidoscape as well.
100%. I mean, well, I still, every time people talk about these things, I think of, David Lynch's wonderful rant about people watching a movie on their phones. It causes him total and absolute disgust. And part of it's about how was that thing intended to be consumed, and the more things are only intended to be consumed on a smaller screen, why have a bigger screen?
Yeah.
Why, if really the way that the traffic is going to go is that I'm going to watch everything on my Google Pad or whatever my little kind of flat screen handheld device is, why have scope and scale? It doesn't read, so there's no reason, I think, to kind of invest in it. And so that'll, I think, change the stakes and change the kind of stories that they decide to create for this space.
Well, got booted for a second there.
Uh-oh.
I was like, whoa, what happened? Yeah, the stream is going wild. It's going haywire right now. Um, Luke, are you still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
All right. Well, I'll edit this out later. But yeah, definitely for sure. Support your theatrical experience, and also support your theatrical on your physical media as well, because we want to keep those things going. As movie fans, home theater fans, you definitely want to keep those things going. But let's hang out and wait for Luke to return. What's new over there in Dream Media, Killen? I
Uh,
see you putting up a lot of install videos.
yeah, so we have, started to expand our local territories and markets. So we now have, a really, really awesome hire in our Colorado market. There he is, camera working and
I'm
everything.
back.
So in the
Yeah, I'm back. All right.
Denver markets and that sort of thing, we're going to be able to actually help physically do the install, not through our installer network, as well as the Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Nashville markets, where I'll personally handle those. So that's one thing that we're expanding in our business is kind of the automation, you know, walking the customers' homes, that sort of thing.
Nice. All right. So welcome back, Luke. So what we're going to talk about now is the best movies of last month, which would be the month of June, because today is July 1st.
Boom.
So let me just go through some of the stuff that I have personally reviewed. I think the big one that I first reviewed last month would be this guy right here. This is If, starring John Krasinski. This is a downloadable Kaleidoscape file, which comes in at 61 gigs. And I saw this at the theater, right? Look, I'm going to say like a couple of weeks before it came on Kaleidoscape. And it was, as far as enjoyability factor goes, I thought it was a very sweet, little, endearing family movie for sure. A good looking movie as well. I wouldn't say it was like demo material or anything like that. Really good HDR, really good solid 4K resolution on it. The effects were really good as well, blended in really well with everything else. Atmos wasn't like crazy extravagant or anything like that. There was a couple good moments, like the Tina Turner song was really good. Um, I think that's really the only thing that really stood out to me in that
What's
movie.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of beats. There were not a lot of big splash scenes. I think
Yeah,
this is a comedy drama dialogue driven movie.
yeah,
I mean, in terms of being something that's really interesting, it's got this. I think it's got a really consistent, beautiful color level. This sort of cool black that it was running for pretty much the entire film,
yeah,
and it does. It's one of these films that, and this is for me as a long time watcher. Although I wasn't old enough to have been watching Anchors Away when it came out. But you see these movies that integrate reality and SFX and how they blend them together, and this is a pretty seamless integration. This
yeah,
movie, they found a way to kind of make you forget the characters. You kind of enjoy them. You see the lush purple grimacy fur on Steve Carell's If, whose name I can't remember. Oh, it's Blue.
blue.
I
Yeah,
remember because that made me mad because he's purple.
yeah,
Um, and so you get beautiful textures, you get layers, but they become really sort of, they feel like they fold very natural in. The tour scene is sort of the big scene that sort of stands out to me. I think when they go through to the sort of retirement home for imaginary friends, and we get
Right.
so many different big beats of different kinds of imaginary friends with maybe a million celebrity guest voices popping up in the background.
Yeah.
Lots of really funny single spot jokes that they were running in. But it is that it's a seamless sort of integration of the visual SFX that I thought was pretty strong there in this film.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see F, Kellen?
I watched. I got it downloaded. Was planning on watching it this weekend, but the kiddos were a lot tired. They passed out a little earlier than we thought they would, so we didn't get to watch that movie. Me and the wife watched one, but skipping through it and things, it looked good in terms of video quality, but yeah, I really can't touch on audio or anything like that. I didn't think it would be some crazy demo worthy movie, anyways. So it was
Yeah.
just,
And it's
but it
that
was a
late. Go ahead.
funny feel good movie, is what I
Yeah.
heard. So
Yeah, well, and it's a sort of, it's, but I also prepare you for, it's also very sad. It's that
Hmm.
late child family movie. So it's sort of
mm,
like, it's that 12-year-old range. So, she's at her grandmother's because her father is in the hospital because he's about to have heart surgery, and her mother's already died. So they build these big sort of emotional stakes on top of the character. And so there's a lot, they want you to cry. They're looking to
Yeah.
crack you. They're trying to make you cry, and that's obviously a model that works. I mean, we won't talk about this week because it doesn't play in. But I know whenever the movie gets dropped and released, the other news that came out earlier this week: Inside Out 2 billion dollars, first $1 billion movie of the year.
Yeah.
So people want that. People do love that good family line movie that is
yep.
trying to tickle your funny bone and make your heartstrings get tugged pretty hard.
Did you cry, Luke? That's the question.
Buddy, I cry. I cried at Furiosa. I cry. I cry at every movie. I am here. I am here for it. I'm here to live as a human being in the world and have emotional experiences.
Yeah, I could. When I was watching If, I was like, oh, they're trying to make you cry. It didn't catch me. I don't know. I felt like sometimes I like watching these sad movies. Sometimes I'm like, oh, all right, let me catch some feels in this. And I was just like, oh, it didn't quite catch me. It was like it tried to. It came close. I was like, I know what you're doing. I
You got
did. So
misty.
it didn't
You
really
got
catch me.
misty, but it didn't break.
No frog in the throat. So
Yeah,
sorry.
no, we're good. We're good. We're good. Stay in there.
That's my allergies. Yeah.
So listen, if you guys have not picked up If yet, if you have the Kaleidoscape or digital or physical, it's not on physical media yet, but I think it's worth a pickup for sure. If we're
Yeah.
just talking like enjoyability factor, just movie factor itself, yeah, I would pick it up. I would own it personally. I would also
Yeah.
own it if you're just a home theater, maybe like a demo guy. You just want something to show off in your home theater. I still think it's pretty solid for that as well. But just for
And
enjoyment factor, I would pick it
and
up.
it's
Yeah.
and it's rewatchable. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's some movies that you get to the end of them, you're like, okay, I had that experience, and now I'm good.
You know what?
And,
Let's work that in our thing every month here. The rewatchability factor. Does it
yeah.
have rewatchability factor? Yes, I would say If does have good rewatchability. Let's move on to the next one. This is a classic one. I reviewed this on. Sorry, Luke, but I reviewed this on Blu-ray because it was sent to me. So
Again, I'm never going to
came
be
up
upset
first.
about that. I love for people to enjoy the media however they encounter it.
But I reviewed the 4K Blu-ray of this, but you can also pick it up on Kaleidoscape for what's that say? $20, which is
Yep.
a steal of a deal for sure.
Yep.
I think the physical media might cost a little bit more money actually. But this is $20. This comes in at about 50. I can't really read that. What is that?
56 gigs, just
Fif-
under 57.
56 gigs.
Yeah.
Just under 57 gigs. So this is the Crow. This is the original Crow, not the one starring Bill Skarsgård that is coming out, or the one starring Edward Furlong, or the other one starring I don't know how many sequels there are, but this is the original that kicked it off. Classic movie. I think I mentioned it in my review that I saw this movie the first day it came out. I was so amped up. I don't think I even knew it was a comic book at the time, but
Oh,
I
wow.
went with a packed audience at the theater. I remember it like it was yesterday. And when he first killed the dude, actually no, when he first puts on the makeup and he swings out of the window, that got such a pop with the audience. I was like, oh my god,
Huge.
like I never knew people cheered at movie theaters before. Like this is the first movie I've seen that people were cheering. Like I was like, oh my god, so crazy. And I've owned this movie on Laserdisc, on VHS, on DVD, and now I own it on physical media and probably on Kaleidoscape once it goes on sale. So this is an all-time favorite of mine, and this is the best it's ever looked.
Yeah.
It legit looks like it was shot the other day. Like Brandon Lee is still alive with us. He's alive with us in spirit. But this movie looks legit awesome looking.
Yeah, this is a movie that some movies are not treated well by the upgrade process,
Yeah.
and this movie, no, this was clean. It's got a sort of it's got a gorgeous, simple palette, and I mean, I think one of the things that really just helps it as a feature in general is that he has real star power,
Mm-hmm.
and that still comes through. So when you have a movie that can have a main actor that can kind of carry the hook like that, makes it pretty compelling to want to kind of keep coming back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the audio is still holds up really well today as well. I forgot, was there an Atmos mix on that or no?
That I don't remember. Hold on.
Can look. Didn't get a chance to watch it, but
I don't recall. I
The
don't think there was.
Crow, no
Yeah,
Atmos.
yeah, just the regular 5.1. Usually, nowadays our processors are so good nowadays. You can just upmix it and get some pretty good surround extraction out of it. Good HDR. Black levels are solid. It's a very dark movie, obviously. Resolution is 4K crispy in a lot of parts, so you get a lot of good detail on this transfer. I mean, if you saw the original Blu-ray, this mix still holds up. It still sounds pretty good. And yeah, solid movie. Not like an HDR eye blaster or anything like that because it is so dark. But the shadow details where it really shines because the HDR brings out some more of the details in the low level. And then peak highlights, great as well. I didn't see anything blown out or anything like that. Just overall, a really great transfer and 100% worth owning in your collection for sure in 4K.
That's right. And you get have a Crow movie night. Put on your guy liner. Start thinking about what kind of vengeance you want to take on the people who have wronged you in your life. That's it. It's a good movie for that.
Yeah. Did you watch it? Have you ever seen it, Colin?
I have never seen it. No, I
You've
haven't
never
seen
seen
it.
The Crow? Ever?
Never
Like,
seen The Crow.
never.
Never.
His
Yeah.
movie card has been revoked.
I was one of those comic book guys where I had read The Crow, and so I was very excited to see what they were going to do with it, and uh, was very caught up in all of the energy that went around it. And then it's one of those movies that also it also just had a cultural impact sort of that splashed over everywhere. I mean, I think it became very emblematic of a particular subset, the entire goth culture
Yeah.
that sort of went out, and and the one that I because I liked all these weird things when I was a kid. The wrestling universe saw and loved The Crow like maybe no other place. We had many storylines in the WWE and the NWA, the AEW. Everybody loves it. The Crow is a shining star for a lot of those guys
Yeah.
stylistically.
Yeah. One of my favorite all time comic book movies for sure. And to answer your question, Steven, why does Shane have an owner stake in Kaleidoscape? Josh, can we make that happen?
So, are
I
you
have
my
no problems
boss
with
and I
that.
didn't know it all this time? This is unbelievable. No, it's a no.
We're not giving away any secrets today.
Sure.
I was just looking at Crow to see like how did I miss this? Yeah, it's because I was 3 when it came out. So
But now you're ready for the
Three.
second wave, my friend.
yeah,
You're ready
yeah,
for the second wave.
that's right. That's right.
Kellen's like 19 years old.
Not quite, but
So let's get on this one. Actually, let's do this one really quick. I didn't watch this one. I haven't seen it in years. I just found out that it just came out. But this is Purple Rain on the Kaleidoscape.
Purple Rain on the
I think it's on
Kaleidoscape.
physical media as well. This comes in at 65.1 gigs.
Yep.
I'm sure, Luke, you have seen it.
I did. I've only watched clips. I haven't gotten to watch the whole film again because Gerald was getting final touches put on this guy, and I actually haven't pulled it down to our main theater system in order to give it a tour. But I did go drop in for a couple of songs, and looks great, sounds great. Not an Atmos track, but it's a totally compelling non-biopic little piece of musical drama that Prince has put together for us there.
So, did you just say you have a theater there at the Kaleidoscape headquarters?
Yeah, we have it's just a small extended demo room. We really don't yet have. We're planning on getting another one installed. We had one of our previous facilities, and I think we want to get something with beautiful seats and a nice projection line. Right now, we've got a simple theater with a Trinov display and a 100-inch Sony. Oh, I'm gonna lose my letters. Please, Sony, don't be mad at me. Uh, One of their big, beautiful Bravias that we got for one of the trade shows that we've brought in, we've installed here into this place,
Nice.
which gives us a quick sense of scale. It's one of those things that we want to do because my guys in their demo rooms have more small enclosed spaces, and so sometimes they want to get into a larger space to see how a particular title is reading for a larger room.
Oh, nice. Okay. You're gonna have to make one of those Kaleidoscape home theater videos once you get that installed.
Oh, 100%. We'd make it a TikTok. Gonna put it out there for the world.
Make a
Doing a little
TikTok.
dance as I go in. That's right.
If we can help you guys with that, let us know. We'd
Oh,
like to be a part of that.
100%. I would love that.
Yeah.
How what's the video quality like
Video
on
quality is
that?
good. It's super clean um, as we looked at it, but it's definitely a 1984 movie that's sort of I kind of been brought back.
Mm,
So this is earlier. So this is going to be just a little bit naturally grainier. And it's a sort of a dour movie. A lot of it takes place at night, so it's sort of a darker palette the entire time, but
yeah.
nothing looks particularly crushed. Um, yeah, so it's a nice print for a seminal film that I think a lot of people. There's a lot of Prince aficionados out there that this is one of their go-to films.
Well, if Kellen was 3 when The Crow came out, you were definitely not born when Purple Rain came
But
out.
I have
Right.
seen this though. Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
Oh, you
have
seen
did see
you?
it.
the.
Okay.
Well, I seen. I guess somewhere on streaming years back, or maybe just a couple years back. But I downloaded the new one. Listened to a couple of tracks. Sounds really good. I could see this being some demo content, possibly at Cedia, just
Hmm.
from a live concert, or not a live concert, but just a music track demo type of thing.
Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, look good, sounded really good.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to check it out at some point then. Oops.
Yeah, Apollonia remains extraordinarily beautiful. That's it's one thing that hasn't changed about this movie since the time when I saw it when I was a wee lad of I think I was 10 years old when this movie came out, but loved it.
All right. So another movie that I think I just reviewed yesterday is David Fincher's Zodiac. This
Ooh.
one comes in at a big whopping 88.1 gigs. Look
Yeah,
at
it's a big
that.
boy. That's
Yeah.
a fat base file,
Mhm.
and also 2 hours 40 minutes. This is a whole chunk of a movie. A whole chunk of a movie. What did you think? Shane, it just came out. I haven't seen your review yet. So give me the Shane impressions. I'm excited to hear about it.
All right. So obviously this doesn't look. I mentioned in the video in the review. This isn't as bad. I don't want to be like it's bad looking. It doesn't look. You can clearly tell they touched up the image.
Sure.
They cleaned it up. Not as much cleanup as James Cameron has done in his previous releases. I don't think it's that waxy looking, but there is a bit of smoothness to it for sure.
Mhm.
Most notably, I would say during the darker scenes, because on all digital cameras, whether it's from 2007 or my FX3, you're shooting in the dark, you're gonna notice noise in the shadows. Just unavoidable. I mean, you can see it in my reviews. Well, I got noise in my videos,
Right.
unavoidable. But in this transfer, there's like no noise anywhere. It's so clean looking. When there's definitely some noise in there back then. I think maybe there's like 10 stops of dynamic range, maybe 11. So yeah, they cleaned up the image. It's not egregious. I don't think they used AI to inject any artificial like pores and wrinkles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd
So
see that.
no, yeah, there's none of that in it. You can't count pores and wrinkles; it's just not there. But it's still really clean looking. I have seen really good, just regular straight 1080p's that probably have more detail than this, but it's still clean looking though. It's not like an egregious looking, DNR transfer or anything like that. I enjoyed it. I didn't have a problem looking at it. I liked it. It's a very clean looking, not like crisp and clean, but still good detail in there for sure. Black levels look nice. Like I said in the review, I think since it is such a dark movie, there's a lot of stuff that you can just make out like faces, but nothing else in the scene, which could be an intentional thing because it's David Fincher. He
Hmm.
makes a lot of dark movies, or maybe it could just be because the cameras back then just couldn't shoot good detail in the dark. I don't know. I didn't shoot the movie, so I did mention that. But overall, I don't remember seeing Zodiac. I can't remember seeing it on Blu-ray to make a comparison. But I would assume that it's got to look as good, maybe better. I don't know. I think it's a solid transfer overall. I mean, it's a good movie. I hate going into movies knowing that there's no resolution
Mm.
because they never caught the Zodiac killer. So it's like I didn't want to download it and watch it because I just knew I would be unsatisfied because I knew the story behind it. But some of the scenes in it are, the first killing where he stabs the guy and the woman in the lake. He does it in the day, and it's like very realistic. The way he shot it, that looked fantastic. I mean, the movie does look great. Don't get me wrong. Jake Gyllenhaal looking like he's about 19 is a little weird because we're so used to him looking and growing up in film, being a
The
man right now.
Roadhouse.
In
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Roadhouse,
Haggard in Roadhouse almost
yeah.
even.
I mean, I think it's a solid transfer overall. No new Atmos mix with it, and it's also only on streaming and on the Kaleidoscape. I don't think they have announced it being released anytime soon on physical media. So if you're
Oh
a
wow.
fan of the movie, you can only get it on those two platforms right now, on streaming or on the Kaleidoscape. And obviously, the best way to watch it would be. And I did see it on streaming as well, and it looks better on the Kaleidoscape. Yeah,
Yeah, it. I mean, the great thing is it's a David Fincher movie. So I
yeah,
mean, I think that this is one of the ones where if you're on the fence about buying it, even knowing that you're a person that's really triggered by seeing too much smoothing in a transfer that comes up,
yeah,
um, the composition of the individual shots is still going to be extraordinary. I
yeah.
mean, he infuses tension into a picture of a guy doing a crossword puzzle. That shouldn't be possible. But it's Fincher, so he's laid it out. There's a very subtle, unsettling score that's sort of backing the entire film, part
Hmm.
of keeping you continually engaged. Um, and it's a very well plotted movie. I agree. It's hard. It's hard knowing that you're building to an ellipsis because there is not going to be an unmasking of a villain.
Yeah.
There will be no well, hello, Easy HD Tech. There will be no moment where somebody kind of comes in and the end of Silence of the Lambs comes to mind. It's
Yeah.
very satisfying. We get total high thriller chase that leads to the killer being unmasked and put down.
I
No
guess if you don't,
similar energy at the end.
yeah, I guess if you don't know the story of the Zodiac killer, then sorry, we just spoiled it for you. But it's your
I think,
fault.
yeah, history has spoiled that movie for you. That's
Yeah.
we can't take credit for things that were in the real world in some way settled.
Yeah. Kel, I'm sure you've seen this movie.
Yeah, no, I love Fincher stuff. I haven't seen it since I made the upgrade for the 4K. I had it downloaded and watched it previously on the Kaleidoscape beforehand, before they came out with the
Mhm.
4K HDR upgrade, so to speak. But I guess you can touch on that a little bit. It's cool that if you already have the movie downloaded, I think I paid a couple extra bucks and got
Yep.
the 4K HDR alert saying, hey, there's a new upgrade to this movie if you want to do it. And so
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Just hadn't had the time to rewatch it, but
some of the studio deals make it so that we can actually offer at a lower price the movement from your HD version or your Blu-ray disc version to your 4K version. And so if you already own the disc and it was cataloged on your system, then you get a price break as you're coming in order to get this movie in better quality as it comes in.
I
yeah.
think when this first dropped, it was like $15. Am I correct on that?
The opening weekend,
Yeah. I don't know, the first day it
I
came
was
out
gonna
or
say I
something.
think I paid 10 or 15 for
Yeah.
it. It was
yeah,
either
that sounds
9.99 or 14.99.
Yeah. Which I'm sure the physical disc when it comes out it's going to be like 25, $30 or something. So I was surprised that it even dropped. I didn't know it was coming out. I just was scrolling through. I was like, Zodiac. I was like, what's it doing? I was like, David Fincher. So I was like, where's Fight Club at? And I was, I was like, oh man. Which, by the way, I hope I've seen Fight Club so many times. It's one of my top 10 movies of all time. I've seen it so many times on Blu-ray, so I know exactly what it looks like. I watch it multiple times a year.
yeah.
I hope, I hope he doesn't. Not that looks bad. Zodiac looks bad, but I hope he doesn't. It doesn't have that smooth look to it because it
Gets a
looks
little
really
extra
good
treatment.
still.
You want
Yeah,
it to look rugged. You want
yeah,
you want that dirty film grain splashed everywhere you can see it. Yeah, I you know that and that's interesting. I don't know. I There haven't been a lot of 4K upgrades that have come out of the old Fox catalog of late. So, I mean, that's one of the things is that Paramount, which is where Zodiac's coming to us from, has been pretty aggressive. I mean, they every couple of months I get another batch for review of possible titles that we're going to get that are going to get a new 4K treatment. So we kind of try and get those in front of people as soon as we can.
yeah,
Um, some of his other movies, I mean, Social Network, I think looks gorgeous. I think they did a great job on that one as they came up. Uh, Sony probably will eventually do Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and then I think Seven Warner will do Seven. I think that will definitely also happen. I don't know about the game, and I continue to wait for Sony to do another treatment of the Panic Room.
yeah,
That there was so much complex early technology going into the way that he did that movie, though. That I think I wonder if they're worried about how that will get that will transfer up.
yeah. I'm fingers crossed it's gonna look awesome. They're not gonna DNR it to death.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you are a fan of Zodiac, 100% for sure, pick it up. I mean, it's still a great movie. It's a David Fincher movie. I feel like his style, his the material he likes to talk about. He nobody does it better. It's great, still a great movie, even if you know what's going to happen at the end. And another movie which I watched on streaming, I didn't watch on the Kaleidoscape, which, by the way, um, I think it might even still be in the theater, is Watchers, which comes in at
Ooh.
57.4 gigs.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the Watchers? What does it look like on the Kaleidoscape on 4K, uncompressed?
It it's a look, it's an Atmos soundtrack that sounds pretty good. Uh Creature sounds in the middle of in the middle of the forest at night. Um Compellingly scary. It's a very dark movie for the mid belt, right? So for that entire time that we're trapped in the room in the middle of there, it's a movie that's there and did not look crushed to me. But it's not a go to demo line for me. It doesn't jump out as that sort of quality line. But I thought it was a fun Saturday night horror movie. That's like kind of how I landed on this one. Um, Critics not as kind.
Yeah, yeah,
Did not love this movie as it came out. I think they felt from somebody that's in the Shyamalan Knight family, and so there's some twists and turns that didn't connect with everybody in the audience. Is
yeah.
what it sounds like as a film. But I thought the movie. Hey, won't spoil anything for you. It's worth the ride, I think, if you get on board.
Yeah. Did you see this, Kellen?
No, I didn't.
No.
I've got several movies on my radar for July. Quiet Place Day One, although I may not go see that now just because it's kind of come out in a few weeks. But Long Legs,
Can you
definitely want to
confirm?
see that.
Hold on, Luke. Can you confirm the date of July
I
31st
will I will
as?
confirm nothing for you. There's been no announcement from the studio on the release dates. I don't know why Kellen's throwing these magical dates that he's pulled out of the
Hey,
universe out for there.
it's
But I will
Twitter,
tell you
man.
that
Sorry.
there's been nothing announced formally by the studio in terms of the EST release date for this title, and Kaleidoscape disavows anybody who is leaking other materials that they think might be the
This,
actual date as
yeah,
it comes
this
out.
was on Twitter. It was
Oh, that's weird.
Amazon Prime, I think, tweeted it, and then
Oh,
they
really?
deleted
Okay.
it. So
Oh,
that's where I
really?
got my
So
information.
Okay.
so
It's not from Classgate.
I'll see. Well, of course, it's not from us. I'm very tight-lipped. I'm mean to people even that come to my office and try and find out when the movies. I won't tell you what's coming out tomorrow if the studios haven't told me, even though I can tell you what's coming out tomorrow.
But you did say Bad Boys is coming out next month, right? Bad Boys 4?
Just take a look at my board, see if I can see anything that's on the schedule. Do I have anything to announce for you? Nope. It
Did
says
they
don't announce anything. That's what it says.
they
That's what
they
it's.
got it carved in that tree back there?
That's that tree back there. It says. It says, "Oh, hey everybody! Look, yeah, nope, 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 nope. That doesn't tell you guys anything. That's what it says."
You got Watchers back there.
hmm
But yeah, Long Legs and gosh, what was the other one that I was planning on watching this month or trying to, anyways? There's another big one in a couple of weeks, I think. Um, yeah,
But well, I did. I saw Watchers on iTunes, and as far as Atmos is concerned, I thought the Atmos sounded actually really good. So if you guys are looking for the creepy, crawly, dynamic, active Atmos mixes that take place out in the not the jungle, out in the woods, out in the forest, this has a lot of good moments like that. When she goes into the city, not too much, but the stuff in the woods sounds really good. Just like Luke said, I didn't notice any like any detrimental image. At least on the stream, it didn't look bad, any crush or anything like that. Pretty clean looking. I think it was shot digitally as well. I don't know the specs on it, but it was shot digitally, and I believe it is M Night's daughter.
Yes.
So there are some little twisties and stuff towards the end, and you know you kind of can figure out the twist. One of the twists you can figure out pretty easily. And this movie was based on a book. I don't want to say what. Well, you can Google it, what book it is, and find out what the movie's about. But I wasn't expecting the twist at the end, which I thought was cool, but a little goofy at the same time. But I was like, okay, well, I'll buy into it, I guess. I don't think they quite stuck the landing in this movie, but worth a watch though. Would I own it? Does it have a rewatchability factor? I don't think so. Oh, hold on, Zodiac, for sure. I would still say Zodiac.
Zodiac's key is a key
Yeah,
rewatchability movie.
yeah,
I
you
mean, that's one of
definitely
the
gotta watch it.
a movie that they've decided to reissue on 4K usually has a pretty powerful rewatchability factor.
Yeah, Purple Rain as well. You can rewatch that multiple times.
Even if you just hop in, even just want to go park in and you want to go, dearly beloved, you want to hop right in, find
Yeah,
out
yeah,
where are these songs that have
yeah. My
become part of my life? Where do they land in this movie?
my dearly beloved, and The Crow. You can watch that every day.
Every day if you want.
But the Watchers net right now is available if you're gonna pick it up. If you're just a Shyamalan fan, you want to support the Shyamalan
Well,
family.
and if you and if
57
you're
gigs.
and if you're a thriller fan, I mean, this is
Yeah,
a movie that scratches the thriller itch. I think it's funny, Jane. One of the things we were talking about on the last cast is that it's really interesting. It's not to everybody's taste, but a lot of these really powerful Atmos mixes that come out are for
yeah,
horror. It's because
yeah,
they are paying attention to the sound design in a way that really takes advantage of every tool that they can, and a lot of times that translates into your audio space in kind of an incredible way. It's not just a creak; it's that the creak of the door moves.
yep.
That's one of the things that's going to kind of keep you edge of your seat.
Yeah, and this one definitely has those creepy sound effects in it, no doubt. Just like last month's Abigail Really good Atmos
Yeah,
mix in that movie.
yeah.
Isn't M Night? Doesn't he have a new movie releasing this month? Trapped or Trap
Yeah,
or something like that?
yeah, with Josh
Or
Hartnett.
yeah, yeah. So it looks interesting. It's a
That
different
trailer is
concept.
unbelievable. It's an
Yeah,
Yeah,
unbelievable trailer.
yeah. So
having a Josh Hartnett renaissance coming up really
I did.
soon.
I do. I was just watching this weekend, which interrupted all of my movie watching activity. I stopped for a minute to watch a TV program, and he shows up all of a sudden in the TV show, and I was like,
Oh,
"What?
really?
Where's Josh Hartnett? It's, like, unbelievable. He's everywhere now."
Yeah, he's everywhere now. He's kind of fell off after that Ben Affleck movie, Pearl Harbor.
The Pearl Harbor, he sort
Yeah.
of he sort of stepped back a little bit, and then he did. He started really. It's been a quiet comeback, but ever since he
Hmm?
came and got in Penny Dreadful, where he
Hmm.
had a role in the Showtime show. He's really very good in that TV show, and I think that was the beginning of him sort of getting some later in life roles. I don't know if he
Yeah.
was too interested in being romantic leading man, which is probably most of the parts that they wanted him to do.
Yeah. All right, so Watchers, and then the last one, I saved the best. I think the best for last. Highly underrated. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This comes in at 81.7 gigs. This, one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year at the cinema and also in my own home theater. I don't know why people didn't go to see it at the theaters. No idea why. I would say this was probably better than Fury Road as far as like fleshing out the story of this new supposed trilogy. I don't think it's going to get a trilogy now because you guys didn't go to see it at the cinemas. Shame on you guys. This gives a lot of backstory and world building on the wasteland itself. Visually, it looks like Fury Road. It's a little bit cleaner. They didn't put that much film emulation because it was shot digitally.
Yep.
So there's not much grain on it. They didn't overlay grain on it to give it a more grainy texture. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I could go either way. Great looking transfer. You know, it's really hot. Is it really hot looking? Not as hot looking as Fury Road. Great colors. You know, a nice contrasty image. The Atmos is rocking. The only thing I knocked it for was that Fury Road is louder. There's a lot of movies that are just louder than this mix. I felt like I had to bump up the mix about 6 dB. Otherwise, I would have gave it a 10. I gave it like a 9.9.
Interesting.
Other than that, this mix rocked. The bass rocked. The effects rocked. Everything was fucking great. I would say I like this mix. If it wasn't for the volume, I would like this mix better than the Dune 2 mix, which I gave a perfect score for.
Ooh.
This
Whew.
is
high
just a
praise, high
yeah,
High
praise.
praise.
yeah. This is a winner. I mean, there's some good stuff in Dune 2. Don't get me wrong, but as far as like if you want to just showcase your home theater, like if you got a good one, I would probably pick Furiosa over Dune 2 for sure.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think it's like Dune is they're both the appropriate soundtracks for their movies, and I think in that sense, I think if you're just going pure show off, in the same way that I would show off Mad Max before I'd show off Dune, from an
Yeah,
audio perspective, I mean the
perfect timing.
opening of Mad Max, it's a perfect display of every one of your speakers,
Yep.
and this, I mean, the roar of the motorcycles is gonna rip up your home theater seats. It's gonna be a real experience that kind of pulls you in. It's got the hook. It's
Yeah, I didn't
interesting.
get to watch it fully, but I had it downloaded, and Friday, um, before we fired up the movie that we were going to watch, I was like, oh, I'm going to check out one of the demo scenes, and it was I guess the first bus chase. That was pretty wild. So yeah,
So
excited to
good.
go back and watch that one start to finish.
The
And the
fir-
D
the
box, I guess, is already preloaded too. So it was cool. Yeah, it was
you
a good
did
one.
you saw the first one where they had the gang on bikes with the aerial assault.
Hmm.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, I continue to love just the action set piece design. That's George Miller, a total standout part of the first feature, which was just such a wildly different movie. I mean, the first movie is a chase movie. It's a
Yeah.
one long, huge chase movie with very little reprieve from the chase. And this is a much more elaborately drawn story, which is in the end a revenge narrative, and it takes longer to get going and doesn't have the same constancy to its beats, but really still has on par, I would say, as good as gorgeous action shots that they've got pulled in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've watched. I wish it was in 3D because I know the original Fury Road was in 3D. I have seen that multiple times, more so than the 4K version, by the way, with Atmos. Um, Unfortunately, Furiosa didn't come in 3D. Sadly, I was hoping it would be announced, but no. Still, I've seen Furiosa, I think 5 times already, twice
Oh
at the
wow.
theater and then multiple times here. And yeah, just I love this movie. One of my favorite movies this year. I would watch this more times than I would Dune 2. I'm thinking if there's another movie I would pick this year that I've seen. I haven't. Deadpool hasn't dropped yet, so I
No.
would say Furiosa is probably my favorite movie this year so far.
And you haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet.
I saw Inside Out. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Just like if you could tell they were trying to pull on the heartstrings.
Oh yeah.
It didn't catch me though. I was like, I was like, I know what you're doing. It just didn't hit. Just didn't hit. It
I
was
love it.
it was still good though. It's still
Still good.
good. Yeah,
Still
still
good.
good. Yeah. But rewatchability factor for me on Furiosa,
I think
10
you
on the
already answered that.
rewatchability
Yeah, I
factor,
was
man.
going to
Yeah, yeah,
say.
yeah. That's your
10, man.
highest praise. I think 100%.
10.
Yeah. 7 times in 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I know I know I'll rewatch this one. I also think that there's going to be I think it's going to sort of end up, and I'm saying this not to equate the movies in any way, but to say the stacked experience is on par with. A lot of people love to just watch a Godfather movie, but I love to watch both of the Godfather movies. Like if I'm going to sit down, I want 6 hours because I want to watch one and two together, and I could
Yeah.
see myself frequently going back and doing, the Furiosa cut and watching Furiosa and then watching Mad Max back to back. I could see
Yeah.
myself sort of having that as a repeated viewing experience because I think the way the world building and narrative builds flows even more elegantly in that order.
Yeah. Do it. I did. I did it with me and my wife. I was like, listen, we're going to watch Mad Max first, and then we're going to rewatch Furiosa. And then she said, didn't we just see Furiosa last week? It's like, yeah, but come on. You got to watch it again. All right. So definitely a rewatchability factor, I think, for all of us. And we're going to move on to a new segment called What's Coming Out in this next month for July.
Yeah, I can't announce anything, buddy. I can't announce it. I don't have clearance on any single title. I can tell you that I think people aren't going to be surprised. The windows are changing and they're getting closer, and so there is a bunch of content that is moving from the movie theaters into the home, and so we're going to be really excited as soon as we can announce all those guys.
Okay, so that's a short segment, but we're going to come up with another segment. This,
We can tell you what's going to be available for pre-order.
Yep,
Deadpool
100%.
versus Wolverine. Yeah, or Deadpool and Wolverine.
here's a new
Trap.
segment called Confirm Nor Deny. The first question comes from Victor Fontaine called I Saw Kingdom of the Apes comes out on 9th next week. Is this true? Can you confirm this or deny it?
Hi, Victor. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm excited if that ends up being true. That would be it sounds like a wonderful movie, and I'm excited to watch it on Kaleidoscape when it becomes available.
Okay, well,
I know I'm no help. I apologize. No help. No
good
help
job.
here.
Johnny Sandoval has now nicknamed you the party pooper.
I'm here. You know what I mean? I didn't say anything when you brought up 3D, so I'm not totally a party pooper this week. We're keeping we're good fences make good neighbors. That's what we're putting it out there. Yeah, no, it's a yeah, it's an interesting thing to be in the industry at this time because the studios are really paranoid about this. They want to make sure that they're protecting their windows and their dates, and they want to make sure that other studios aren't stepping on their dates. So I'm close to it's a bit, but it's also, I'm very close to the vest because it's important to my partners over there that when they send me a date and they tend to tell me something's coming out earlier than they had suspected it would, that, I hold that as close as I can. And really, the trend, it used to be, you'd get a pre-order and I'd get to tell you 2 weeks ahead of time. I'd be sending an announcement out that said, hey, get ready, plan your movie night. This movie's coming out. And more, the actual timing that they've given me for the release day release is day before.
Yeah, it's
So
weird.
that's it. It's all about protecting the market as they're kind of negotiating what this new field is like. And so we're gonna I'm gonna continue to be a responsible steward so that they actually tell me about the dates and that they continue to give me the movies so I can put them in front of you as quickly as we can.
Yeah, because usually I would just go over to iTunes and just check out their digital release dates because I know you guys usually do it the same day, but theirs is like not even sometimes like the day of, or it'll just drop out of nowhere. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wow! I was like, I didn't even know this was coming out. And then I would go over to Kaleidoscape and be like, oh, well, it's there too, so I'll just get the Kaleidoscape version. Here's a question here. Is Kaleidoscape quality same as 4K Blu-ray or little inferior? Well, I can say from my personal experience, I've never seen a Kaleidoscape title be inferior to 4K Blu-ray. If anything, not
I've
every
seen it the other way
time.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, not every time. There's titles like Endgame. I think there's something recently that came. I don't remember what it was. That's a little bit bigger than the physical disc because physical discs are limited to like 100 gigs. But then you got like menus and different languages and all the other stuff that takes up a lot of gigs. Whereas the Kaleidoscape, they can go beyond that, like 112 gigs or whatever. I don't know what your biggest movie file is, but you can go beyond 100 gigs. And
Ooh, that's a
personally,
good question.
I, yeah, personally, I saw a difference on my projector on the screen when I went on the 4K Blu-ray of Endgame and then the Kaleidoscape. I was like, oh wow! I was like, there actually is a difference here. It was a little bit cleaner. It just was a little bit cleaner. I was like, shit. I was like, that actually does make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wary of flagging this. Size isn't always a direct correlation to quality. It does mean that we have more bits frequently
Hmm.
that we're pouring out there, but um, I think our goal and the Blu-ray disc provider's goal are the same. We just have a different tool set that we're putting in front of them. Our goal is to take the master file that we were given and to get it as clean into our format as we possibly can. I think we're I think there's no time I've observed when we're inferior to the disc. There will be occasions when, however, that a studio makes something available for the physical Blu-ray market that they didn't make available to the digital providers. We don't have any control over that, but that's something that exists, and so that version might be preferred by a customer as it comes out.
Right.
And we, you know, counterintuitively or counter to that, are frequently given times when we're treating our file live and we can update our file live. And so once that disk is locked, that disk is golden locked, and that's it. Your quality is like that. Whereas if some opportunity to improve what we've received comes along, we've got a bunch of movies that we've gone back and got Atmos audio tracks added to once they became available from studio. So these are things that are kind of great for us that that we're able to provide.
So there you go. I forgot who asked that question, but thank you for the question. But thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next month to discuss Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and maybe Inside Out 2.
Now, whatever movies come out,
Quiet
which will not be
Place.
announced until we get to
Quiet
the
Place.
place that we are, and I hope until then everybody enjoys all the stuff that they're watching. Thanks so much for having me, Shane. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks
All
for
right.
being a good sport, Luke.
Of course.
Yeah, we sure. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys in the